everyone, and welcome back to the Freeman Focus Podcast. I'm your host, Mariano. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our studio sponsor, What the Snark in Wild Rose, Wisconsin. If you're looking for custom apparel, hats, hoodies, decals, business branding, or personal gifts, be sure to check them out at whatthesnark.com. Today's episode features Wachholz Family Farm in Marquette County. We are joined by owners Aaron and Victoria. I'd like to thank you for joining us today and for sharing your family farm story on the Freeman Focus.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
You guys like to introduce yourselves a little bit more and kind of give us some background on how this all got started?
So we are the sixth generation of our family to farm here in Marquette County. My great-great-great-grandfather immigrated from Germany in 1886 to Marquette County. We don't farm on the exact homestead farm that my grandfather came to, but we farm on the farm that my parents bought in 1976. And again, we are the sixth generation of the Wachholz family to be farming here in Marquette County. I purchased the farm from my parents in 2010. Victoria and I got married in 2018. And the seventh generation is here, and we are prayerful that they will want to share in the tradition as well.
And I originally did not grow up on a farm. I was actually from Palatine, Illinois, and I moved to Wisconsin in 2000. And we lived in a town for a while. And then my parents finally bought a hobby farm about 20 years ago, and I grew up with some horses, showing horses in the county fair. And then we got more involved with a few beef cows. And that's actually how I met my husband, as he came to breed.
That's how any good American true love story should start, right? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Awesome. So sixth generation family farm here. You guys are working on getting the seventh generation prepped in line to continue on your traditions and your family's heritage. So that's awesome. What do you guys farm? What and all? You said beef. You mentioned beef cows.
We have
let
beef.
the listeners know about what you guys have going on.
Yeah, we have beef, we have dairy, we have hogs, we have chickens. So a little bit of everything, and we do some crops.
We operate.
And what separates you guys? Go ahead.
We operate 400 acres of owned and rented ground. It's all under organic management. And we grow as much of our own feed as possible for all our livestock. And of those 400 acres, 70 acres of it is cultivated pasture, which we rotationally graze our dairy and our beef herds.
It actually answers the question I was about to ask you. I was like, what separates your farm from a lot of other farms is that you guys farm organic, right? And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is what you put in your body definitely changes the way that your body responds and reacts and grows, so it's very critical. I think organic is definitely on the come up. It might not be cheap on the store shelves, but there's a reason for it. There's a process. Like you said, you guys, rotational grazing and explain, please do.
So to be organic, we do not use any herbicides of any kind. We do not use any fertilizers that are not natural, coming from the earth in one way, shape, or form. And we cannot use anything that is synthetic. So everything that we use to feed our soils, to feed our crops, to then feed our livestock, it's all natural, and it's wholesome, so that we can grow a better end product. Healthier crops make healthier animals, which feed healthier people. It's just a cycle, and it just keeps going over and over. And my father and I were never big on using herbicides when we were conventional. And when we decided to go organic, it was kind of a no-brainer because we had always farmed that way anyway. So.
Awesome. That's awesome. And that's not easy. Being an organic farmer means that there's a lot more that you have to watch out for and be mindful of. So it takes additional steps in the process, right?
Yes, it does. We don't have the band-aids that like conventional people have. Like if our soil is poor, it's going to show. We don't have a quick fix to make it better.
We also have a lot more scrutiny than the conventional world. We are certified organic, so we undergo an audit every year to be certified by a certifying body of the National Organic Program. They oversee our receipts and everything to make sure we're not fudging on anything. So when we say we are certified, we actually have an authority that has overlooked all our work to make sure that it is complete and as we say. So
That's awesome. And it's not, I know there's a lot of stuff on the shelves that it might claim that it's organic, but there's like a certain percentage of whatever it is that they need to do in order for them to get that label. What you're saying is you guys are 100% organic, certified through and through. You know, that's awesome. That's definitely a big separator from your farm compared to others that might be in the area. Maybe people don't realize that difference, but it's a big difference. So do you guys do direct to consumer business as well?
Yes, we do. We have a store right on our farm. It's just a small shed that we finished out that we have freezers that people can come Thursdays through Saturdays and pick out cuts of meat that they want. You can also place orders online, and we have like different drop sites that we do once a week. So we have one in Baraboo on Tuesdays, one in Stevens Point on Wednesdays, and then we also go to multiple farmers markets in Rome, Wisconsin, Portage, Fond du Lac, and then Princeton. So yes, we do direct sales.
That is awesome. I thought I seen something in Fond du Lac. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. These guys are out in Montello. I'm like, oh, I get it. They're hitting the markets because you guys have products. This is a good way to move them. So that's really smart. I shared the post for the Fond du Lac one recently. I've seen that.
And we're definitely willing to go to like Fond du Lac and Oshkosh and bigger cities because around us it's really small, and it helps being willing to drive to a city because you have more people to deal with then.
we're also open to
Absolutely.
open to forming more drop sites. We have a part-time employee that does delivery for us, and we're always willing and eager to start new ones. It's just we like to have a minimum amount of product to be able to drop to make it worth our while.
Absolutely. That is awesome. You guys got into the direct to consumer business. That's definitely when it comes to organic and beef, that's almost a necessity. I've worked with another farmer that does that. You know, as far as how you guys care for your animals and stuff, I know that you said that it's all organic, so there's nothing that's being added, no pesticides, no fillers. How does that work as far as the rotational grazing and stuff like that? You have to tend to the field, and then cattle and the animals get to come in after it's been grazed. How does that work?
So our permanent pastures are in perennial species of grasses and legumes. We do whatever we need to maintain those species. We typically graze from May to mid to late September. And our cows move throughout the pastures through that season. The grass and the legumes, which predominantly our legumes are alfalfa and clover, because in our sandy soils, they perform the best in our soil type. So, traditionally, we like to move our animals daily, if not for
Building a brand or a business takes time and focus. As an entrepreneur or business owner, there comes a point where trying to manage every detail on your own can slow things down. What the Snark helps take some of that off your plate. They provide custom branding, business apparel, drinkware, and precision decals for vehicles, equipment, storefronts, and even custom home goods. A one-stop shop for all your custom gift needs. Located on Main Street in Wild Rose, What the Snark offers custom solutions designed and supported a clear and professional presentation. Visit their shop or reach out to learn more.
for sure weekly from each paddock to paddock. And that way the grass has a chance to recover. And it's been a little more challenging this year with a lack of rain, but it's still worth it to us because the cows are healthier, they're happier, and the end product, be it milk or beef, has a much bolder, better flavor. As you said earlier, more omegas. It's a healthier product. We've had many customers come to us and try our beef compared to conventional beef they were buying, and they just can't believe the taste difference. So there is a difference.
Huge difference. Absolutely. That is awesome. And again, knowing where your food comes from, I mean, that's a big thing, It needs to be done right. I mean, anybody can produce end consumer products, but that doesn't mean that they're good for us, right? And if the price tag is really low, or if they're giving it away for free, you got to question what's in that stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that. So, hats off to you guys for doing it the organic way. I know there's a lot of regulations and stuff and hurdles that you have to overcome in order to make that certification and keep it. So, again, hats off to you guys. I'm really excited that our friends at the Montello Theater had suggested to cover your guys' story. And I just seen online, you guys just had like an interview, or someone else had just stopped out there not that long ago to cover your guys' family farm. So perfect timing to go hand in hand, Another thing I suggest is, when people cover those stories, sometimes you don't get enough time, like they get like 4 minutes on the internet or on the big screen, and that's it. You kind of have to figure out as much as you want to talk about your family farm in that 4-minute segment. For this, we can kind of break it down, get into finer details, talk about who handles what type of farm duties and chores. I mean, you guys can really tell the story however you guys want.
For our farm, the majority of the day-to-day work is done by me and my dad. We jokingly say that we're the ones that keep all the animals healthy and happy on our farm. Victoria predominantly does our marketing and our sales. So she handles all the online orders and most of the sales. I can't stand at a farmer's market for 4 hours at a time. I go stir crazy. I have to be doing something. That's
why it's my job to go.
That's not me.
Totally get that.
And my dad and I do most of our field operations as well, because we harvest all our own forage, our own grain. We do have a little custom work done for us, but predominantly we do all our own work. Day-to-day chores, as I still work off farm at a factory job in the morning yet. Victoria and my dad do our morning milking and chores, but then I get home around 1:30 in the afternoon, and then we do whatever needs to be done. My dad does field work as well after chores in the morning, and we work together as a family because we have to, because we'd like to take on employees, but when you can't afford them, you work together as a family.
Yep.
So,
right.
And I think
that also helps keep the quality control in check as well when it's family members.
Definitely.
Yes. And everybody says to me, "Don't you want more employees?" And I jokingly always say I'm a livestock guy. I want to manage livestock and soil,
not people.
Not people. I get along fine with people, but I prefer to manage the farm and manage livestock and soil. So
I think working with animals is a little easier than working with people these days.
Yes,
Agreed.
For sure.
Definitely.
I think that goes without saying.
I see it every day at my factory job.
Yeah, I used to be a factory employee. I've worked at a lot of major companies and corporations throughout Wisconsin, and I always felt like just a number, just another body in a position. You just do what we tell you to do and nothing else, and everything will be fine, and you'll get a paycheck. And at some point, I had to realize that there's a lot more to life than just that paycheck. Like, what is my purpose? What did God want me to do the best that I can do here? And I'm a talker. I got the gift of gab, unfortunately. So this is just the way that I'm trying to utilize that and help share that stuff with other people. And if God has blessed your family with a green thumb and the ability to, handle your family farm, then man, this is the way that you get to serve his people. And I love it. It's a blessing. Blessing to have the opportunity to be here with you guys and share this story. So
For sure.
there's a little bit of a delay here in between us, but don't worry about that. That does get fixed with the AI stuff that I was referring to earlier.
Okay.
My coworkers think I'm crazy that I work as hard as I do, and I always say it's nothing more than a job to get us through, because my passions are here at home. They are not there at all. And that's why we're working so hard.
That is just a paycheck to meet obligations.
Exactly. And it's in the broader vision of where we want to go with the farm. And eventually we are prayerful that the good Lord will bless us with that opportunity that I can come home full time. And we always say to our customers, what could be better? You guys get to buy wholesome food and we get to farm. It's the best of both worlds.
That is awesome. That is truly awesome. Yeah, I don't think people really realize that, like, when you start working for yourself and you're working towards your family's legacy and your future, making sure that your children have a job and are employed, you kind of want to put as much effort and energy and time as you can into that. So that's where we get called crazy, right? Like, that's insane. Why would you do that? Well, it's because it's for me. It's for my family. I'm going to do everything I can.
Yes.
But, any challenges that your family farm had to overcome, rain, any droughts, any issues with the farm that you kind of weren't sure what direction things were going to go? Anything like that ever happen along the way?
Definitely.
Yeah. So I took over the farm in 2010. I've been farming for 16 years, and we probably have almost lost the farm 3 times already in those 16 years. But God is gracious. God is good. He has taken care of us through some momentous challenges.
Thank you, Jesus.
We lost our barn to a fire, burned to the ground. We rented a farm next door, pardon me. So our barn burned in 2016, and we rented a farm 6 miles away to keep milking cows. At the time, our banker claimed he was going to help us build a new facility. We had good insurance, but it wasn't enough. And at that, we were dating when this happened, and we started touring barns and decided what we wanted. And when I went to my banker, he said, "Nope, I'm not going to help you." And I said, "So what are we supposed to do?" He said, "Sell your cows and move on with your life." I said, "Gee, thanks. Just what I wanted to hear." So at that time, we had to make a decision because our land was in transition. We were going to be certified organic, and we were going to ship organic milk at the same time, but we couldn't afford it because of our financial situation to do both. So unfortunately, we sold off most of our herd, kept 10 cows and 10 calves to rebuild another herd with. And that's how we got started in the direct marketing world, because after that, we had to change direction some way because there wasn't a milk check anymore. So that's when I got my factory job, and all my coworkers started asking, "Well, you're a farmer. Can I buy some steaks? Can I buy some bacon?" So God used it and made a positive, because we would never be talking right now if that would have never happened.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Which, if you're not a farmer, 2 of the hardest thing a farmer could go through is a barn fire, losing his barn, and another one was shipping his cattle on a truck. That was probably his worst day ever. I can testify that it was not a good day. But
are you looking for more space without sacrificing style?
At Northbuild Sheds, we offer custom-crafted portable buildings designed around your family's lifestyle. Whether you're looking for additional storage, a backyard workshop, or a space for your lawn equipment and recreational toys, or simply a building you can make your own, we can help bring your ideas to life. Choose from a variety of styles, colors, sizes, doors, and windows, roofing options, and more. All crafted by Wisconsin Amish and Mennonite builders and backed by a 10-year limited warranty. Best of all, you can start designing right from the comfort of your own home. Visit northbuiltsheds.com and start designing your building today. Northbuilt Sheds, built for the North, built for you.
Through those two very hard trials, we have definitely seen God blessing us and pointing us in the direction of direct sales and stuff. So even though it was hard and horrible and a lot of tears were shed, God definitely used that.
We've also
awesome.
had challenges since that happened. We've changed direction 2 times. Our soil consultant encouraged us to try corn and bean rotation and do cash crops organically. It didn't work. So financially, it was costing us way more, and we weren't getting any more return on our investment to make it worth our while. So we changed direction again and went back to pushing more and more livestock. So we've had some financial challenges along the way as well, and we figured out what works better in our soil type and what crop rotation works well in our rotation as well. So, and inputs haven't gotten any cheaper. Farming is not easy right now, but we see where we want to go, and God keeps leading us that way, and he keeps blessing us and giving us little victories to keep moving that way despite the hardships. So
That is awesome. Yeah, I think that really kind of we want things to work out a certain way, but there's plans happening beyond our understanding, and we don't know why. But we need to experience that in order to get to what's next for us or for our family, or in this case, for your family farm. I think that's awesome that you guys were able to find those challenging times as a way to grow closer and to really double down on, what are we doing right? What's not working? What do we need to change? A lot of people, when they face those type of adversities, they fold. As soon as they hit the first bump in the road, they're like, well, I tried, it is what it is, and then they just go back to a regular 9 to 5. And it's just like, your purpose is so much richer than that, right? You don't even know your fullest extent, but if you have faith and you put the Lord at the forefront of your household, we'll get you through it. He'll be there every step of the way. So
Definitely.
That's awesome that you guys have, amen to that. Awesome that you guys have gotten to where you are at now, 6th generation, working on the 7th generation. We did touch base a little bit on where people can purchase some of your products, but you mentioned you have a website. What is the website?
So our website is wachholzfamilyfarm.com. So people can type that in, and we have a whole store online that they can look at, so they can get an idea better of what we sell. I'm still working on being better at keeping up with inventory and making sure that's always accurate. But that's a learning curve of mine I have to do better at. They can also go on there and see and learn a little bit more about us and our farm as well. We also have a Facebook page, so I try to post like different things about our life that we're doing at the moment on there. Any updates, like if a store is closed a certain day, I'll post on there, or like if we're running any specials or anything like that. They can find us on our Facebook page, which is just Wachholz Family Farm. Yeah.
do you have to when you go to our website, do you have to become a preferred customer to see all the products, or just some?
No.
She takes care of the website. I keep animals happy.
Keep him with the animals and leave me with the computer work. We figured
the
that
balance of all things, right? That's awesome. As far as keeping stuff up to date, I think that's kind of hard for most farmers. It's always best to say, contact us for availability, right?
when you have a store and you're doing farmers markets and people can order online, there's like 3 different ways they're purchasing. So sometimes it kind of crosses over where it might say I have something in stock at that moment, but I might have just sold it. So it hasn't quite caught up yet. So, or sometimes we have something in stock and I just haven't entered it into the computer saying we do have it in stock again. So yeah.
That makes all the most sense right there. So again, the best way to do it is to reach out via website. Got their contact information there. Also a Facebook page so people can reach out there. There are posts, as far as what farmers markets and drop-off locations they're currently spread out at across central Wisconsin and beyond. So definitely take a look at that information. Is there anything else you guys can think of outside of everything that we've discussed that you'd like for the audience to know about your farm, or the next step? What the next plans for your family farm's heritage?
Right now, we're actually contemplating and prayerfully looking at expanding both our dairy and our beef herd because of demand. And we have the opportunity to get into a very high-end niche market with our milk, which we are excited about. We are still in the planning stages, and we are still looking at where the Lord is going to lead us with that. Our hog operation is also, we're basically having growing pains because our facilities are getting on a small side because customers like what they're getting, and so we're doing more and more, and what started as a very small family farm is now starting to grow, and we're having growing pains.
Well, like in our hog operation, it was a hobby when he started.
These are good problems.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the hogs have steadily been growing that we literally have run out of room for hogs. We just don't have enough room for every single hog. So it's like, oh, we need to build on. But how are we going to build on?
Otherwise,
That's
we
awesome.
Our hope and our prayer is that we can serve our customers and glorify God through what we can offer to them as a wholesome product that they can consume and enjoy, and we can enjoy producing it and serving God what He's called us to do. And we would love to do that with our children. We'd love to see them all come back to the farm and have a different place in it, where however that may look or become like, and we'll leave the rest in His hands.
Yeah. Awesome. What a story. Wow. You said this all started with great grandfather from Germany back in what you said?
1886.
That to now, wow. Not a lot of families can carry stuff on for that long.
Yep.
People don't really get that. There's a lot of hard work out there, depending on what you're doing and what you're in alignment with. It's going to take a physical toll on you, or a mental toll on you, or emotional toll on you. And that's why I can imagine you like being out on the pasture, because you don't have to deal with a whole lot of the mental and emotional stuff. It's just your work and your physical abilities, and if you make those things happen, your animals are happy, right? Like the cow whisperer, as soon as you show up, they know, they like you. They know you're coming there to do some work for them.
That is definitely true. There is one story I'll share. Is the day the barn fire happened, we had a whole bunch of friends move our cattle to another farm because they still need to get milked and everything else. And I wasn't there, but I was told the story that the cows were all excited and not cooperating and everything else, because these were cows that were used to being like a stall barn, and now they have to go and get milked in a parlor, which is totally different. And cows are creatures of habit. But apparently, as soon as Aaron walked in the door, the cows just all calmed down. So he is definitely the cow whisperer. Yes. And normally, just on a day-to-day basis,
I love cows that. That's awesome.
The cows work okay for his dad and I in the morning for milking, but he is definitely the cow person, because the cows behave way better for him than they ever do for his dad and I. I mean, there are certain cows that his dad and I like, they just do not like us or something. I don't know. They don't want to listen, that's for sure. But he walks in and they stand there and get milked and walk back, no problems. It's like, okay.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And like you said, they are creatures of nature. So working with some of the National Association for Piedmontese, or I forget exactly what it was, the NAPA. I met a guy, Keith, and again, same scenario where as soon as he's on that pasture, they listen to him, they follow him. They didn't like me. They didn't want to come anywhere near me, but they sure followed him, and he didn't really have to do anything but show up. It's remarkable. You build it, they will come, right? So I guess it's time to expand and build a little bit more.
Yes, definitely.
That is awesome.
I would be happy to come home flat.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's the end goal, right? Is you started this as a project, but realistically, it's the consumer base and demand is growing so much so that, it's a challenge between your day-to-day operations and the assurance of a regular, normal 9-to-5 paycheck. So, what I'd like, absolutely, I'd love to see, the internet react and show up in full force. And if you expand and your demand keeps climbing, if it's God's will, then you're going to be out of a job here pretty soon because you got work to do.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'd rather work twice as hard at home with family. So.
Amen to that. So, I mean, as far as that goes, I mean, that's pretty much all I had for questions about the operation. I always like to extend a welcome to come back on the show in the future if things start changing and like you're excited, you got some new stuff you want to talk about, even if it's a 15-20 minute segment, or if you guys have more stuff that you might have not have brought up in this episode that you think would be a great story for people to hear, we can always do a part 2 and a follow-up with the Wachholz family farm. I think that'd be awesome. I always want more guests for the show. So if you guys have anyone or a business that you're affiliated with that you'd like to recommend for a story, either say it now or, shoot me a message or a text later saying like, hey, this might be someone that might be interested and they got a pretty cool story that you might want to help share. So I like to extend that invitation. If you've taken the opportunity to make time out of your busy week to share this story, then I'd like to pass, that favor on to someone else. So, again, I'm really grateful that you guys took the time out of your week to join the show.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.